All right, I'm talking to Michael Elwin Setiadi, a game designer from Art on Code, and the game he's designing is called Winterflame, The Other Side. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hi, Stephen. It's very nice to meet you and to meet all of your watchers,
Oh, thank you.
viewers. Oh, viewers.
Viewers, yeah, it's a YouTube channel. I'm not that famous, don't worry. This is a side-scroller adventure puzzle game. I did see some action from like a Mega Man-like style arm cannon, so it could be classified as
Yes.
an action as well. But what was the reasoning behind making a side-scroller title?
Well, to be honest, uh, what we actually wanted is to create a adventure game, a puzzle adventure game. So the what you see in the trailer, the flame Mega Man style, is actually a part of the mechanic of the whole game. Is the fire mechanic. We have all four elements inside the game. We have the and everything to different things like the earth magic. It's we call it a sea root, and what it does is basically it's a grappling hook, and you see a flame, and then we have the air bubble, which is create a protective air, and you can also do a creative protective bubble actually, and you can actually so we have a whole bunch of puzzle centered around that, and we also have this for the air element we have this magic called air hole. Okay, I'm trying to not to say it wrong.
That's okay.
So it's basically a small vortex that create a small black hole in the game that sucks everything in. So
Okay. So you thought that that would be the best way to showcase in a side-scroller adventure to have all this magic going with puzzles and what have you.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
and okay,
All right. Well, Winterflame is based on a novel from the Vandaria saga. It's called Vandaria Saga Winterflame.
yeah,
And it's a story of a handicapped boy named Lev who has no left hand, who sort of turns into Samus Aran. I'm just kidding. And he's a character who feels alienated and alone in a world of magic, and he's seeking out Reina, is that right?
yes.
Who's apparently his only family, or someone he thinks of as family?
It's someone. Reina's family actually saved him.
Okay.
So he's actually a war victim from those magical being we call frameless.
All right.
But Reina is also from that magical being. So Reina is also a frameless. So the idea is that not all frameless are bad. So this family of frameless actually saved Lev, and Lev became attached to and have all this kind of complex to some kind of a weird attachment to Reina.
I see. Okay, now Vandaria is a whole body of work comprised of graphic novels. You got comic books. You've got a board game. You got card games. For
Yep.
example, I've been looking down the list. There's one called Hailstorm, Tabir Nalar, Red Fang, Nadera, a whole bunch of others. They're all written by different people. I personally like to
Yeah.
know how this all takes place because it's a community-controlled canon. I don't know, but the real question I have for you guys as the developer here is, what made you choose Winterflame to make a game out of? Like you had other options. So what was so great about Winterflame?
Well, we actually the owner of Vandaria IP contact Art on Code in order to create a game out of it.
Okay.
So when Art on Code take a look at it, and we see all this different kind of source trying to intertwine, and there's no for us there's no coherent explanation out of it all. So we became involved with in the creation of the history of the world of Vandaria itself, the actual history. So what happened was that last year we basically create um, a guidebook, more like a guide notes of what Vandaria is, how the world came to be, how Frameless is, and try to make sense of it all. And from that work came the result came is the novel Winterflame.
So you would say
And
that you actually helped make the novel.
yeah, the Winterflame novel is actually co-published between Fandaria and our own code.
Ah, I see. Okay. Because it
Okay.
seems like, this is such a popular series.
Hmm.
A video game would be the next, the bigger, ambitious idea to go from
Yeah,
games to, or board games and card games
board
to,
games, card games. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad that, the author or authors are going, hey, this is really popular. This is working. And they contacted you. That's great.
Yeah. Well, one among many of the others, one is actually very stand out very among among them all is the is Fakhrul. Fakhrul is also is one of the if I'm not mistaken, he's he's the writer of Tabir Nalar and Nadira, and is two of the more is two of the popular book in Fandaria world. So he also came into the project, wrote Winterflame with us, and also going to wrote about the game for us.
Okay, that sounds like you guys took a lot of involvement in the creative side of making the world and then fleshing it out and then building it. So that's a very I've
Yes.
never heard of that happen for a game studio to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Um, well, we actually have a ton of fun on trying to create and trying to practically from all it, above it all, it come out a brand new Fundaria that is quite different than the Fundaria that came before.
Oh, interesting. So you did
Yeah.
a lot of creative freedom to change the world.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I was watching the Kickstarter video, and there was a gentleman named Anton Budiono, and he described that
Yep.
Winterflame was inspired by classic adventure games like Gabriel Knight and Monkey Island, but also inspired by more modern puzzle games that on your mobile, like Cut the Rope and Where's My Water. Now, the first two I know because I grew up with those, and Gabriel Knight's one of my most loved adventure games for so many reasons I'm not going to get
Well,
into.
well, so am I.
Yeah? Okay, so everyone knows
Yeah.
Gabriel Knight, how awesome it is. All right, we're on the same page. That's cool. It had, it had like graphic novel scenes. It had like film noir
Mhm.
vibe. Even had some great voice acting. But I have to ask, this is a personal question.
Mhm.
How is Winterflame like those adventure games, and how is it like those puzzle games, and how do they work? Because it sounds like those are totally different to me in my head.
Well, from the Gabriel Knight perspective, is that uh, those games have a really deep story, right? So that's what we're from with Winterflame. We're trying to achieve that. We're trying to tell a story about how left going from being the state of confusion and hope, and then lost everything, and then trying to stand back again. Now, from the game part, the puzzle part, is that all the games that are mentioned uses physics for the puzzles, and uses motions, uses sometimes knee-jerk reaction to the puzzles for the solutions,
Right.
and that's what the kind of puzzle that we're trying to craft.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's mostly a really big, deep story and a lot of interesting, intricate puzzles, and
Yeah.
all with a side-scrolling plat. It just woo.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
How does that work? We'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the art style.
Okay.
There was I think his name was Staven on your team. He's the art
Yep.
director, and he was talking about there's Russian indigenous tribe and Aztec culture and Mayan culture designs, and you actually look at the gauntlet that Lev is carrying. It looks like it's some sort of Mayan design there.
Hmm.
But one thing that stood out when I was reading this whole thing, and I knew this is just me again. It says
Hmm.
in bold letters, dramatic character changes, and I was like, "Wow, what is that?" Without
Okay.
obviously you can't spoil anything, but what does that mean? Aside from this is being an adventure story to rescue Reina, is this guy going to be going through so many conflicts that he's going to be a different guy at the end of it?
Well, for on the mental journey perspective, that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
But on the visual side, when on many games, the way you walk from start and the beginning will be the same throughout the game, right? But what we're trying to do is that in each of the level will represent the mental state, less mental state, and he will when at first he will be confused, so he will like walk with uncertainty to it, with a feeling of uncertainty, and then the next level he will be more hopeful because he gained more power, and he will be more brash, more active.
Right.
And then later on he will be depressed because something happened in the game, and his movement starts slowing down, and all those things will be represented in the animation.
I noticed that one of the I think this happens at the beginning of each level. There's a cut scene, and something's happening to introduce you to the story. And one of them is he's crawling and he's trying to get somewhere. He just collapses, and then it zooms out.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming this is like, oh, this is a really big deal. He just got through to get here, and then he has to go and figure out what happened. So that's great. Simple form of storytelling. Just have a little cutscene to showcase it. Show, don't tell. That's great. Okay, so and there's another big component of your production, which is music. You have a whole team of musicians here, and it will also involve a live orchestra, which is pretty impressive. Now, I also read about the puzzles. You just mentioned it as well. You have the physics puzzles, you have color puzzles, there's the logical math ones, and then there's music-based puzzles. Now, to me, I was like thinking, what the heck's a music puzzle? I was thinking maybe it's like Guitar Hero, mini game. You just start typing on the keyboard, or Dance Dance Revolution. What kind of puzzles, and are they based on like the level, or just like, okay, this level is going to have a magic physics puzzle, then it's going to have a logic puzzle, or is like this level is going to be the music level puzzle?
Well, we don't center, even though we centered each area is based on the elements, it's not based on the puzzle. So
okay.
you might get the music puzzle maybe in the first area of the game, or maybe in the later on. I cannot tell yet.
Okay.
So it's something that you must you have to play to find out.
Right.
Actually. Right. So, but yeah, we have a really tight and creative design team for the level design. So I'm one of them, and there's 3 other guys, and other guys at the team sometimes, most of the time, also chip in for the level design. So yeah.
And I read there was 5 levels. Those are really big levels with all these puzzles in them, and storytelling, and these beautiful backgrounds, and the palette. I was going to talk about the art, but it's a very bright pastel. One level is all very green and lush. The other one's very light blue. And was that inspired by the novels, or was that the novels literally said this world has lush green forests and sparkling blue waters? Is that just okay, we're going to make that, or this is our creation, we're doing our own thing?
Well, all those color idea and direction is all Stefan's.
Yeah.
All Stefan's. I mean, the way he works is that he usually start out with a whole bunch of text about how this world, what the world is, and what happened, how the area is going to work, what he thinks about the area and all this stuff, and then he starts drawing, and that's what came out from his mind. So and then we have actually cannot say anything because it's like so beautiful, like the one you see. So yeah,
that's the thing. Like many other people mentioned, as you put in the Kickstarter, saying, yeah, this is a beautifully ethereal, magical place, and it's like it really strikes you as this well thought out idea, and you have the art to back it up and say, yeah, we got it, we're going. So I have no
Yeah.
more questions, but I just want to say that you guys have 23,000 followers on Facebook. You're more than halfway through your goal. You got 20 days left. I'm just hoping this thing comes through so we can see what it looks like. Is it just
Oh yeah, so me too. We all do. I mean, we have other project, but this is our baby. So
yeah.
this is what we really want to do.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Michael. I'll be watching you guys as the weeks go by, and
Thank you.
I'll hopefully get the word out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.